The night air was cold on the crowded alien market street. Lanterns flickered weakly and the smell of stale food floated around. The people walked fast, keeping their eyes low. Nobody wanted trouble. In the middle of the crowd stood a thin alien girl, her clothes torn and old, her skin pale from hunger. She held a necklace in her shaking hand. It was not an ordinary necklace. The chain was dull, but the stone in the center glowed faintly. It was the last thing left from her mother. Her mother had whispered before dying, "Never sell it unless you must." Now the girl felt she had no choice. Her stomach ached. Her throat burned. She had not eaten for 2 days. She stopped at a bread stall. The smell of warm bread made her dizzy. She lifted the necklace toward the merchant. Her voice was small. "Please. 1 loaf, for this." The alien merchant looked at her and laughed harshly. "That trinket? Worthless, child." He pushed her hand away. Customers nearby stared with cold eyes. Some whispered, "Pathetic." Others turned their backs. The girl tried again at another stall. "Please, only a piece. I will give you this necklace." The stall owner sneered. "Keep your junk. I don't trade for trash." He waved her off as if she was dirt. Tears burned in her eyes, but she forced a smile. She did not want them to see her break. She had learned long ago that the world gave no mercy to the weak. She stood still in the middle of the street, holding the necklace tight. The noise of the market blurred in her ears. She thought of her little brother at home. He was younger, sicker. His cough never stopped. He had not eaten for longer than she had. She had promised him she would return with bread tonight. She closed her eyes, trying to gather strength. Then a voice spoke, deep and steady. "How much for the bread?" The girl opened her eyes. A tall figure stood beside her. He was not alien. He was human. His uniform was plain, his boots dusty, his face calm but serious. The bread seller blinked. "For you? 2 credits." The human handed over coins without arguing. The merchant gave him a loaf. The human turned and placed it gently in the alien girl's hands. "Eat," he said simply. The girl stared at him, confused. "But I did not pay." Her fingers trembled on the warm loaf. The human shrugged. "You don't need to." The market went silent for a moment. People stopped to watch. Some gasped. Some whispered, "Why would a human waste money on her?" Others frowned, angry or suspicious. Humans and aliens did not mix, especially not like this. The girl's throat tightened. She wanted to cry, but she forced her tears back. She looked down at the necklace in her hand. "I should give this to you," she whispered. The human shook his head. "Keep it." His eyes softened. "Some things are not for trade." She held the bread close. Its warmth against her chest felt like life itself. Her stomach growled loudly. She tore off a piece and ate quickly. The taste was rough and simple, but to her it was sweeter than anything she had ever eaten. She chewed slowly, trying not to choke from hunger. The human stood quietly, watching. Around them, voices grew louder. "That human is foolish," one alien muttered. "He will regret it," another hissed. "Kindness is weakness," someone spat. The girl heard every word and shame flushed through her. She was used to insults, but this time they hurt differently, because someone had been kind to her, and she feared his kindness would bring him trouble. She whispered, "Why did you do this?" The human looked at her as if the answer was simple, "Because you needed it." His voice carried no pride, no demand, just fact. The girl lowered her head. Her heart raced. Nobody had ever spoken to her like that, as if she was worth something. The merchant frowned. "Human, you are making a mistake." But the human ignored him. He turned to the girl. "Go home, don't linger here." She nodded slowly. She wanted to speak more, to ask his name, but the words stuck in her throat. She clutched the bread and necklace tight. Then, with weak steps, she walked away into the dark street. Behind her, the whispers followed. Some laughed at her, some cursed the human. She did not look back. Her brother waited for her. That was all that mattered. Yet inside her chest something stirred. A strange warmth. A thought she could not push away. Maybe not all humans were cold, maybe not all kindness was a lie, and the human, still standing in the market, felt the weight of many eyes on him. He knew he had broken an unspoken rule. He knew this was only the beginning of something larger. He watched the alien girl disappear into the shadows. The bread stall owner shook his head. "You'll regret this, human." The soldier only replied softly, "We'll see." The market lights flickered again. The night grew colder. But for the alien girl walking home with bread in her arms, for the first time in a long time, the world felt a little less cruel. The girl walked quickly through the narrow alleys, the bread pressed against her chest as if someone would snatch it away. Her legs were weak, but her heart raced faster than her steps. Every shadow felt like danger. Every sound of footsteps behind her made her clutch the necklace tighter. Yet she did not stop until she reached the small, broken house at the edge of the city. Inside, a little boy lay on a thin blanket, his face pale, lips cracked, and his eyes, half closed when she entered, his eyes opened slightly. "Sister, did you bring something?" His voice was so weak it barely reached her. She sat beside him, broke the bread into small pieces, and placed one in his hand. Tears filled her eyes as he smiled and ate slowly. "It's warm," he whispered. The girl ate too, chewing small bites. Each piece filled her stomach with life. For a moment, the pain of hunger eased. She glanced at the necklace lying beside them. Its faint glow seemed to watch her silently, reminding her of her promise to their mother. She had almost given it away, but a stranger's kindness had stopped her. Her mind kept replaying the moment at the market. The human's calm face, his voice when he said, "Because you needed it." It confused her. In her world, no one gave anything for free. If someone helped you, it always came with a price later. Yet this human had asked for nothing. That night, as the boy slept, she sat awake staring at the necklace. Her stomach was full, but her heart felt heavy. "Why would he help me?" she whispered to the dark. Her thoughts ran in circles. She wondered if he would return, if he would one day demand payment. Maybe he wanted the necklace later. Maybe he wanted something worse. She clenched her fists. "I will not owe him," she told herself. The next morning, she carried her brother's cough echoing in her ears as she walked back to the market. The same stalls buzzed with noise, the same harsh faces. But now whispers followed her more strongly. "That's the girl," someone said. "The human fed her," another muttered. Their stares burned like fire on her skin. She pulled her hood lower, wishing she could disappear. At the bread stall, the human soldier stood again. He was not buying this time. He was simply watching. His calm eyes turned when he saw her. She froze, her heart pounding. For a moment she thought of running, but her feet would not move. He stepped closer. "How is your brother?" She stiffened. "He ate," she answered sharply. She wanted to sound strong, not weak. "Good," he said simply, as if that was all that mattered. She waited for him to ask something, coins, the necklace, maybe even her service. But he said nothing more. He only nodded and turned his gaze back to the crowd. Her anger rose with her confusion. "Why?" she asked suddenly, louder than she meant. The soldier looked at her, silent, waiting. She stepped closer, glaring up at him. "Why did you help me? What do you want? Tell me." Her voice trembled with fear hidden under anger. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then his lips curved slightly. "Not everything is a bargain. Sometimes help is just help." She stared at him as if he had spoken a strange language. The words felt impossible. She shook her head. "No. There's always a cost." The soldier leaned closer, his voice low so only she could hear. "Then think of it this way. You owe me nothing, but maybe, one day, you will do the same for someone else." His eyes held hers for a long second before he stepped back. The girl's breath caught in her throat. She felt as if the ground had shifted beneath her. Nobody had ever said such words to her. Nobody had ever trusted her to give instead of take. She turned quickly and left, but her mind was burning. That night her brother whispered, Where did the bread come from? She hesitated, then told him the truth. His eyes widened. A human helped you? She nodded. Yes, but I don't understand why. The boy smiled faintly. Maybe not all are cruel. His voice was soft, innocent, as if the thought was simple. The girl clenched her jaw. I will not believe it so easily. But deep inside, doubt had already planted itself. The human had not asked for the necklace, had not even touched it. He had only given and walked away. Still, she repeated, to herself, I owe him nothing. Yet in the market, rumors spread faster than fire. Some aliens said the human was using her as bait. Others said he was planning something dark, and some whispered with fear. If humans start caring for us, what will that mean for the balance of power? The girl did not know any of this. All she knew was that a stranger's kindness had left her restless. Her hunger was gone, but now another hunger had taken its place, the hunger to understand why. And as the soldier stood in the shadows of the market watching her disappear again into the alleys, his hand rested on the grip of his weapon. He knew what was coming. He knew danger was near. He had not given her bread for thanks or reward. He had done it because he saw what others refused to see. And that single act had already begun to change more than he could imagine. The market was louder than usual, the air filled with the sound of merchants shouting, coins clinking, and the smell of fried roots and spiced meat. But under all the noise, a softer sound spread like a sickness. Whispers. The alien girl pulled her hood low as she walked through the stalls. Her brother needed more food, but her hands were empty. She carried no coins, only the necklace hidden close to her chest. Her heart pounded because she felt the eyes of everyone on her. It was not imagination, she could hear them. That's her, one voice hissed. The human fed her. Another whispered. She'll bring trouble to us all. Someone muttered. Every step felt heavier. The crowd shifted away from her. Some sneered, some spat on the ground when she passed. A child pointed and asked, Mama, why is she still alive? The mother pulled him close and walked faster. The girl clenched her teeth. She had survived insults before, but now the words cut deeper, because this time she was not alone in them. They whispered about him too, the human soldier who had given her bread at a fruit stall. Two alien women leaned close, their voices sharp. Humans never give without reason, one said. He's playing a game, the other replied. Maybe he wants her for himself. They laughed cruelly. The girl's cheeks burned. She pulled her hood tighter and walked. Away in another corner, old merchants gathered. It's dangerous, one said. If humans start caring for beggars, others may follow. That will break the order. Another shook his head. No, they won't. This was only one foolish soldier. But their worried eyes betrayed their words. The whispers reached the soldiers too. A group of alien guards passed. By their armor clinking, one of them spat. A human wasting food on her? He shames his own kind. Another smirked. Perhaps he's soft, perhaps he can be broken. The girl hurried away, but no matter where she went, the whispers followed like shadows. It felt as if the market itself had turned against her. Her brother's face flashed in her mind, weak and hungry. She told herself she did not care what they said as long as he lived, but deep inside, the words twisted her heart. She stopped at a quiet corner, breathing hard. And then she saw him, the human soldier, standing near a blacksmith's stall. He was not hiding. He did not bow his head. His tall figure stood firm, while people glared at him openly. If he noticed, he gave no sign. Her chest tightened. For a moment she wanted to run to him, to ask why he did not care about the whispers, but fear held her. What if approaching him made things worse? She turned to leave, but his eyes caught hers. He gave the smallest nod, calm and steady. The girl froze, her hands shook. She wanted to shout at him, "Stop! Don't make them talk more." But her throat was dry. She lowered her gaze and walked away quickly. Yet inside something strange burned, a mix of anger and respect. That evening, back at her small house, Her brother noticed her silence. "What's wrong?" he asked weakly. She sat beside him, stroking his thin hair. "They're talking about us," she whispered. "About me. About the human." The boy smiled faintly. "Let them talk." She frowned. "You don't understand. Whispers are dangerous. They spread, they grow, and then they break people." Her brother coughed but kept smiling. "But they're only talking because it matters. If it didn't, they'd stay quiet." His words confused her. How could whispers be anything but poison? Yet in her brother's innocent eyes, they seemed like proof that something important had happened. That night she lay awake. The words replayed in her ears. "He wants her. He's soft. It will break the order." Each whisper was like a knife. But beneath them all, one truth stood clear. The human had done what no one else dared, and the world had noticed. The next day the girl avoided the main road, but still she heard the murmurs. Even the beggars at the city gates whispered, "She's the one. The human's girl." Some said it with envy, some with scorn, but all with curiosity. The girl wanted to scream, "I am no one's girl," but she swallowed her words. She turned a corner and froze. A group of rough-looking aliens stood waiting, their clothes dark, their eyes sharp. The leader smirked. "So, you're the girl." His voice was smooth but dangerous. "The humans, little pet." The others laughed. The girl's stomach turned. She clutched her necklace under her cloak. The leader stepped closer. "You're causing noise in the market, and noise is bad for business." His hand reached toward her hood. She slapped it away. Her fear turned to fire. "Leave me alone," she hissed. The leader's smile widened. "Brave, but listen, girl, you have something we want." His eyes flicked to her necklace. "That pretty stone of yours." Her blood ran cold. She stepped back. "It's not for sale." The leader's smile faded. "Everything is for sale, if the price is right." His men circled around her. The whispers of the bazaar had grown into more than talk. They had drawn predators, and somewhere nearby, the human soldier watched from the shadows, his hand resting on his weapon, his eyes narrowed. He had known the whispers would lead to this, and he knew he would not let it end here. The alley was narrow, the air heavy with the smell of smoke and rot. The alien girl stood pressed against the cold wall, her necklace hidden under her cloak. Around her, the gang of rough aliens closed in. Their leader grinned with sharp teeth, his eyes greedy. "You're lucky, girl," he said softly. "We don't want to hurt you. Not if you're smart." His men chuckled, shifting closer. Their shadows stretched across the walls like claws. The girl's hands shook, but she forced her chin up. "I told you, the necklace is not for sale." The leader's grin widened. "We don't need to buy it, but we're offering something better. We'll protect you." His voice slid like oil. "This city is cruel. You've seen it, you and your sick brother. Can't survive alone. But if you give us the necklace, we'll make sure no one touches you again. No whispers, no hunger, no fear." His words pressed against her chest like a heavy chain. For a moment she felt her breath stop. Protection meant safety, and safety was what her brother needed. But her mother's voice echoed in her mind. "Never sell it unless you must." The glow of the necklace burned against her skin. One of the men leaned closer, his eyes cruel. "Do you really think that human will protect you? He gave you bread, that's all. He won't stay. Humans never stay. But us? We'll be here." His words were sharp, cutting deep into her doubts. The girl's heart pounded. She remembered the whispers in the bazaar, the stares, the laughter. They hated her, and they hated the human who helped her. If he stayed near her, he would be in danger too. Maybe giving the necklace was the only way. The leader stretched out his hand. "So, girl, what will it be? A worthless human's pity? Or real protection from us?" His men grinned, waiting. Her breath shook. She looked down at her thin hands, at the breadcrumbs still clinging to her fingers from last night. She thought of her brother's weak smile. She thought of the human's steady voice. Because you needed it. He had asked for nothing. He had walked away without chains. Her jaw tightened. Her fear turned into fire. She shoved the leader's hand aside. "I'd rather starve than give it to you." she spat. Her voice echoed through the alley, trembling but strong. For a second, silence hung in the air. Then the leader's smile vanished. His eyes narrowed into slits. His men hissed in anger. One grabbed her arm roughly. "You'll regret this," he growled. The girl tried to pull away, but their grip was iron. Suddenly, a sharp voice cut through the alley. "Let her go." The gang froze. Their heads turned. The human soldier stood at the mouth of the alley, his stance calm, his eyes cold, his hand rested on the weapon at his belt. The leader sneered. "So the human dog comes, brave, aren't you? But you're alone." His men laughed, moving to block the soldier's way, but the human's gaze never wavered. "I said let her go." For a moment, tension thickened like smoke. The girl's heart hammered in her chest. She feared blood would spill. The leader studied the soldier's face. Then slowly he signaled his men to release her. The grip on her arm loosened, and she stumbled back, clutching her cloak. The leader's smile returned, cold and thin. "Very well, human. She's yours, for now, but remember, whispers turn into storms. You can't shield her forever." With that, he and his men melted back into the shadows, their laughter fading into the night. The girl's knees almost gave way, but the soldier's hand steadied her. "You should not walk alone here," he said quietly. She swallowed hard, anger and relief twisting inside her. "I didn't ask you to follow me." Her voice was sharp, but it shook. His eyes met hers, calm and steady. "I know," he said simply. "But danger follows whispers, and you are surrounded by both." She pulled her arm free, glaring. "Why? Why risk yourself? For me again? I don't owe you, I told you that." He nodded, his face unreadable. "Yes, you owe me nothing." He paused, then added softly, "That is why it matters." Her words caught in her throat. She turned away, clutching the necklace under her cloak. Her chest a storm of confusion. Why did he keep helping her if he wanted nothing? Why did his calm voice feel heavier than all the gang's threats? She hurried back through the streets, the soldier following at a distance. The whispers of the market still echoed in her ears, but now they carried a new tone. Fear. Not just of her, but of the strange bond forming between an alien beggar and a human soldier. In her small house, her brother coughed and asked, "What happened?" She sat beside him, brushing hair from his forehead. "Nothing," she whispered, though her hands still trembled. Her mind repeated the leader's warning. "You can't shield her forever." Yet deep inside, another voice whispered louder. The memory of the soldier's words, calm and steady. "You owe me nothing." And though she tried to push it away, a dangerous thought began to grow in her heart, a thought that frightened her more than hunger, more than gangs, more than whispers. The thought that maybe, just maybe, she was not as alone as she had always believed. The city never truly slept. Even at night, the bazaar buzzed with soft echoes of voices, the clatter of carts and the glow of dim lanterns. But when the alien girl stepped out onto the street with her hood pulled low, she felt the shadows stretch longer than usual. Her brother had begged her not to leave. His cough had grown worse, and she wanted to find medicine, something stronger than bread. She had no coins, no trade, but she could not sit and watch him waste away. The necklace glowed faintly under her cloak, but she would not give it up. Not yet. Her steps were quick but cautious. Every alley seemed to hold eyes. Every corner whispered her name. She knew the gang had not forgotten. Their leader's words replayed in her head. "You can't shield her forever," as she passed a row of shuttered stalls. A sound stopped her, footsteps soft but many. She froze. Her hand clutched her cloak tighter. From the darkness ahead, figures stepped out. 4, 5, then more. The gang, their teeth flashing, their eyes hungry. "Well, well," the leader drawled, stepping forward. The little necklace girl walking alone again. His voice was smooth, but it carried the edge of a blade. His men spread out, cutting off every escape. The girl's heart thudded in her chest. She forced herself to stand tall, though her legs trembled. You made a mistake, the leader said, circling her slowly. You embarrassed us in front of the human. You spat on our offer. Now we must teach you the price. The girl's throat went dry. She thought of running, but their circle was tight. She thought of screaming, but no one would help. The whispers had made her a target, not a neighbor. The leader stretched out his hand again. Give me the necklace and maybe we'll let you crawl away. Her fingers tightened on the glowing stone beneath her cloak. Fear burned inside her. But so did anger. It's not yours, she hissed. Her voice shook, but it carried through the alley. The gang hissed back. Their eyes narrowing. One of them lunged, grabbing for her arm. She stumbled back, trying to twist free. Another reached from the side, and the circle closed tighter. Her chest pounded with panic, until a sharp crack split the night. A voice, steady and firm, rang through the alley. Step away. The girl turned. Her breath caught. At the mouth of the alley stood the human soldier, his figure outlined by lantern light. His hand rested on the weapon at his side, but his stance was calm. His eyes, cold and focused, locked onto the gang. The leader snarled. You again? His smile returned, cruel and mocking. Do you think you can fight us all, human? You're one against many. His men laughed, spreading wider to show their numbers. The soldier stepped forward, his boots striking the ground with quiet confidence. Numbers don't matter when you fight for nothing. His words carried a weight the girl could feel in her bones. The leader snapped his fingers and two men rushed at him. The soldier moved like water, quick and precise. His hand struck one in the chest, sending him crashing to the wall. The other swung a blade, but the human twisted, grabbed his arm, and slammed him to the ground. The fight was over in seconds. The laughter died, replaced by silence and fear. The girl's eyes widened. She had known he was strong, but not like this. He had not even drawn his weapon. The leader's grin faltered. He waved his men back, but his pride kept him standing. This isn't over, he spat. We'll come again, and next time even you won't stop us. His words were sharp, but his eyes betrayed unease. He motioned his men to retreat, and one by one they melted back into the shadows. The alley grew still. The girl stood frozen, her chest heaving, her knees weak. She clutched her cloak tighter. The soldier stepped toward her, his expression calm. You shouldn't walk alone. Her anger flared. I told you. I didn't ask for your help. The words burst out, but they cracked with fear and relief. Tears burned in her eyes. She hated that he saw her weakness. The soldier's gaze softened. I know, he said simply. But I will not stand by while they hunt you. She turned away, gripping the necklace. Her voice was bitter. Why? You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. For a moment, silence filled the alley. Then he spoke quietly. Not everything is about owing. Sometimes it's about choosing. His words lingered in the air, heavier than steel. The girl's heart twisted. She wanted to scream, to demand answers, but her throat closed. Instead, she walked past him, her steps quick, her mind a storm. She hated the whispers, hated the gangs, hated her weakness, but most of all, she hated the human's kindness, because it made her feel something she had long buried, hope. From the shadows, unseen eyes watched them leave. The gang leader's voice whispered to his men, the human is dangerous, but so is the girl. That necklace is not just jewelry, it's power, and we will take it no matter what. The night deepened. The city's streets grew colder, but in one broken home a sick boy slept peacefully with bread in his stomach, while his sister sat awake, clutching her glowing necklace, her thoughts a whirlwind, her fear of debt clashing with a dangerous truth. She was no longer facing the darkness alone. The necklace glowed faintly in the dark room, casting a soft light over the cracked walls. The alien girl sat cross-legged on the floor, her sick brother sleeping beside her. His breathing was shallow but steady. She held the necklace tightly, staring at it as if it might whisper answers. She remembered her mother's last words. Never sell it unless you must. This necklace carries more than you know. At the time, she thought her mother was only clinging to old memories. But now, after the gang's greed and the soldiers' protection, she felt the weight of those words more than ever. The stone in the center pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. Sometimes it felt warm against her skin, other times cold as ice. She had always ignored it, treating it as just a keepsake, but deep down, she had known. It was different. The next morning, her brother coughed violently. She panicked, holding him close. "Stay with me," she whispered. She knew bread was not enough. He needed real medicine, and medicine cost more than she could ever pay. Desperation burned inside her. She looked at the glowing necklace and made a choice. She had to know the truth. She wrapped her cloak tight and carried the necklace out into the city. The streets were alive with the noise of merchants, guards, and beggars, but whispers still followed her. The human soldier was nowhere in sight. She was both relieved and disappointed. She went to the oldest part of the bazaar, where relic sellers kept dusty shops full of broken machines and forgotten trinkets. An old alien sat behind a counter, his skin wrinkled, his eyes sharp despite his age. He looked up when she entered. His gaze went immediately to the glow under her cloak. "What do you carry, girl?" he rasped. She hesitated, then slowly revealed. "The necklace." The old alien gasped, his hands trembling. "By the stars. Where did you get this?" She stepped back, clutching it. "It was my mother's." The old alien's voice lowered to a whisper. "This is no simple jewel, child. This is a crest stone, a symbol of bloodline. Only the old royal houses carried them. Do you understand what this means?" Her heart pounded. "No, I don't. Tell me." His eyes narrowed. "It means your mother was no commoner. It means you are not either." The girl's mind spun. She shook her head. "That's impossible. We were beggars, slaves, nothing more." The old alien leaned forward. "Bloodlines can be hidden, but the stone remembers. It responds to the life within you. That's why it glows. That's why the gangs want it. They know it carries power." Her knees felt weak. She clutched the necklace tighter. "What kind of power?" The old alien's voice dropped lower. "With it, you could claim heritage, rally followers, even open vaults long sealed. But power attracts danger, child. And if others discover what you hold, they will kill you for it." Fear stabbed through her chest. She thought of her brother lying weak at home. She thought of the gang's hungry eyes and the soldier's calm voice. Her life had always been about survival, but now it was tied to something far greater. Suddenly, the shop's door creaked. Heavy boots echoed. The girl froze. Her eyes darted to the entrance. The human soldier stepped in. His gaze swept the room, landing on her and the glowing necklace. The old alien stiffened. "You brought him here?" The girl shook her head quickly. "No, I didn't." But the soldier raised his hand calmly. "I followed the whispers. They said you were carrying something dangerous." His eyes moved to the necklace. "Now I see why." Her chest tightened. Anger flared. "So that's it. You helped me for this. You wanted the necklace all along." Her words were sharp, but her voice cracked. She felt betrayed. The soldier's expression didn't change. His voice was steady. "No, I didn't." "No, but now that I do, I understand why they're hunting you, and I know this won't end with bread or whispers." The old alien hissed. "Human, you should leave. This girl carries a burden beyond her years. Meddling will bring you nothing. But death." But the soldier stepped closer, his gaze fixed on the girl. "She shouldn't carry it alone." His words were quiet, but firm. The girl's heart raced. She wanted to scream, to tell him to leave her, but part of her wanted to believe him. The old alien leaned back, muttering, "Fools, both of you. The gangs will come, the guards will come, the council itself may come if they learn. That stone is not a gift. It is a curse." The girl clutched the necklace close, her mind a storm. Was she truly of royal blood? Was this stone her salvation or her doom? She looked at the soldier, at his steady eyes. "Why?" she whispered. "Why would you risk this for me?" He met her gaze without blinking. "Because I made a choice, and I will not walk away now." The room grew silent, only the faint glow of the necklace lighting their faces. Outside, the bazaar's whispers grew louder. Shadows shifted in the street, unseen eyes watching, word of the necklace spreading like fire. The truth had been revealed. But with it came a storm that neither the alien girl nor the human soldier could escape. The night was restless in the alien city. The bizarre streets were quieter than usual, but behind shuttered stalls and closed doors, the whispers grew louder. Everyone had heard by now. The beggar girl carried something powerful, something dangerous. Inside her broken home, the alien girl sat with her sick brother. The necklace glowed softly in her hands. She had learned the truth. It was a crest stone, proof of a royal bloodline long thought lost. The weight of it pressed heavy on her chest. She had never asked for power, only for bread. But now power hunted her. Her brother stirred, his voice weak. "Sister, you're shaking." She forced a smile. "I'm fine." But her hands trembled. She thought of the gang, of the old relic seller's warning, and of the human soldier who stood by her even when he had no reason. That same night, the soldier knocked quietly on the door. When she opened it, he stepped inside, closing it behind him. His expression was calm, but serious. "They're coming," he said. "Not just the gang. Word has spread too far. Others want the stone." The girl's chest tightened. "Then I should run," she whispered. He shook his head. "Running won't save you. Not anymore. If you run, they'll chase you. If you hide, they'll drag you out. You have only two choices: cling to fear, or stand." She looked at him, her throat dry. "I'm not a warrior," she said bitterly. "I'm just me." The soldier stepped closer, his voice steady. "You don't need to be a warrior. You only need to choose who you are. That stone already carries weight. The real question is, will you let it crush you or will you carry it?" Her eyes burned with tears. She wanted to argue, to shout, but the words would not come. She looked down at her brother, sleeping fragile and small. Her mother's voice echoed again. "Never sell it unless you must." Perhaps this was what her mother had meant. Perhaps it was never about bread, but about survival of something greater. Before she could answer, a sound shook the street. Boots. Many boots. The soldier's eyes hardened. "They're here." He moved to the window, shadows shifting outside, figures gathering with weapons and torches. The girl's heart pounded. She clutched the necklace close. The door banged once, then again. A rough voice shouted, "Give us the stone, girl, and we'll let you live." The soldier drew his weapon, calm and precise. "Stay behind me," he ordered. She froze, torn between fear and defiance. The door burst open. The gang leader stepped in with his men, his grin sharp, his eyes gleaming. "So, the human guard, dog really does follow you everywhere," he sneered. The soldier raised his weapon, but the leader only laughed. "You can't fight them all, human. Step aside, and maybe we'll leave you breathing." The soldier's voice was quiet but firm. "If you want her, you'll have to step over me." Tension filled the room. The girl's hands shook. Her brother stirred awake, his small voice whispering, "Don't give it to them, sister." His words pierced her heart. She rose slowly, standing beside the soldier. The gang sneered. "Look at this, the beggar thinks she's royal." Her voice cracked but carried strong. "I am not yours to take." She lifted the glowing necklace, the light flaring brighter than ever before. The gang stumbled back in shock, the crest stone pulsing like fire. The leader's smile faltered, fear flashing in his eyes. "So it's true," he hissed. "You are of the bloodline." His greed deepened. "That makes it worth even more." He lunged forward, but the soldier moved faster. His strike dropped. The leader to the ground, chaos exploded. The fight was fierce, blades clashing, bodies colliding. The soldier fought with deadly precision, each move sharp, controlled, unstoppable. But the girl was not silent. She clutched the necklace, its light blazing. Her voice rang out, "This ends now!" The glow spread across the room, forcing the gang to shield their eyes. When the light dimmed, silence filled the broken home. The gang stumbled out, defeated, dragging their wounded leader. Their whispers turned to curses. "This is not over." They spat, retreating into the night. The girl collapsed to her knees, gasping. The soldier helped her up, his steady hands grounding her. She looked at him, tears streaming. Why didn't you leave me?" He met her eyes, calm and unwavering. Because I chose not to. Her brother weakly smiled from his blanket. He's right, sister. Not everyone leaves. The girl clutched the necklace close, its glow warm against her chest. For the first time, she did not see it only as a curse. She saw it as a bond. Her mother's legacy, her brother's hope, and the reason a human had stood beside her. Outside, the city still whispered, some with fear, some with anger, but others with awe. The story had spread. The beggar girl with the royal stone and the human who protected her. A bond no one expected. A bond that defied the rules of their world. And though she did not yet know what path lay ahead, whether it would lead to danger, or to war, or to something greater, she knew one thing. She was no longer alone. The alien girl and the human stood together in the shadows of a broken city, bound not by debt, but by choice. And from that choice, a story began. A story that would one day change worlds,